Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Kevin Wayne Johnson, and I am the founder and chief executive officer of the Johnson Leadership Group, which is an organization that is comprised of a number of men and women that specialize in leadership development training and also in executive and business coaching. And I'm also the creator of the Leaders Are Learners Academy. And I want to thank you very, very much for making an investment in yourself and also making an investment in your leadership journey. So, congratulations. We'll spend some time this session with this Lunch and Learn, simply entitled Put Your Dream to the Test. And we put the word dream there in bold, and we kind of superimposed it, if you would, made the fonts just a little bit larger so that as we go through our time together, I want you to really think about that blueprint that's in your mind and that goal and that dream and that aspiration that you have to do great things as you look at that potential that resides within you. So, again, welcome. And because this is a lunch and learn, many of you have maybe a half an hour, some have a full hour, and others have 90 minutes. But however much time that you have during this time, the good news is that you can stop and rewind, you can pause and reflect, and just take your time. Take as much time as you need to go through this time, to go through the curriculum, to go through the course. We have a lot of information for you in addition to the PowerPoint presentation that I will deliver as I walk you through the course. It's yours. So you can download it and it belongs to you now. We also have a trifold brochure that will give you much more information around the 10 questions that we ask as a part of owning our dream. But for the purpose of this lunch and learn, we'll specifically go through two of the 10 questions. We also have the opportunity for you to pull out your notepad and take notes. So get your pencil and get your ink pen ready to take lots of notes, and you can circle and underline and highlight some of the key things that we'll talk about together. And we also have an image of a target where you'll see the arrow going directly into the bullseye, because that'll give you the encouragement and the motivation and inspiration that you need to continue to shoot toward that dream, which is your target. And then last but not least, in order to supplement the information that we'll learn together, we also have two videos. One is entitled Hurdles. How do you go about hurdling over those obstacles in your life? And the other one is simply entitled Making an Impact. So as we spend our time together, just feel free again to pause and take an opportunity for self-assessment and reflection. I believe that you will enjoy the journey. So let's start out by just asking the proverbial question: what is your dream? And will you achieve it in your lifetime? So think about that just for a minute or two. What is your dream? What is it that you aspire to accomplish? What is that aspiration, and will you achieve it in your lifetime? These are very appropriate questions as it relates to putting your dream to the test, because we want to be able to measure and monitor and manage the process as you go along your journey. So jot down some ideas and some thoughts and some perspectives. What is your dream? Kevin Johnson's dream is to pour into the lives of the current and next generation of leaders, and making the dream become a reality means I have to study, I have to prepare, I have to be ready. And in the name of the academy, leaders are learners. We're always learning and we're always striving to get better and to move forward. And then the other question is, will you achieve it in your lifetime? Just think about that. That's more than just a yes or no answer, but it causes us to reflect and really think about where we are currently on our journey and where we want to go and how we prepare to go as well. So let's define this dream. As you can see, most of us start at a very young age, and that could have been me. I studied at the Math and Science Center in my hometown of Richmond, Virginia. During the summers, I was about that age, and I was under the tutelage of a very well-known meteorologist, and I didn't pursue that particular path, but this is an image that kind of takes us back to our childhood when we remember how we dreamt about all of the different things we wanted to be and do when we grow up. So, a dream then is an inspiring picture of the future that energizes your mind, will, and emotions. What resides here in both the conscious and subconscious part of our mind, our will to now do it, accomplish it, move out on it, and the emotions in our heart, where our compassion and empathy and kindness and respect and care and value and honor resides. So it's an inspiring picture, something that has us inspired. It's inspirational of something that's going to happen in the future, perhaps, that gives us energy now to want to move to action. And that's how we go about defining what a dream is. It really does energize your mind, your will, as well as your emotions. But there are, as you can see to your left, there are 5 common reasons for not identifying dreams. And these things happen to each and every one of us. They are not meant to derail us, although sometimes that does happen, but instead it's intended to heighten our level of awareness that it exists. And let's deal with these. The first one here is disappointment. As you can see, that's what the sad face represents. We're all disappointed from time to time as we pursue our dream. But that's not a reason to stop. Keep pressing forward. Be positive. Look at the outlook and keep striving. The next one is settling. In other words, you and I settle for average, mediocrity, less than. And so that's sort of what that dash represents next to the word settling, because from time to time, we just don't quite meet that goal. We fail to not just identify our dream, but also to actually achieve the dream, and so we settle for less. Just below that is lack of confidence. That's the anxiety and the fear that sometimes will set in, understandably, depending on the situation, depending on the challenge, depending on the scenario. I get it. I understand. But having a lack of confidence should not be the precursor to you and I not being able to achieve our dream. Another way that we ultimately fail to identify our dream is in the area of what we call lack of imagination. That's also synonymous with what I call thinking big. Thinking big, thinking outside the box, getting out of the sandbox and acknowledging that we can actually do something bigger than we think we can do. But until we do it, you just don't know. And so you have to move that dream to action. And you have to think big. That's what imagination is all about. I imagine being a person that would be able to train thousands in the area and the timely topic of leadership. And now I'm doing it. There was a time where I imagined doing it, but now I'm actually doing it. And you can do the same doing your career progression and doing your leadership journey as well. And then the 5th area here is discouragement. So perhaps someone is coming alongside you and they remind you of that stormy cloud. And they're the ones now that don't think that you have what it takes to get it done. And sometimes it's conscious and sometimes it's not. But people can tend to be discouraging in terms of us pursuing our dream. So that is very cyclical as it relates to disappointment, settling, having a lack of confidence, and a lack of imagination. Because somewhere along the way, either someone discourages us, or from time to time, we have been known to discourage ourselves as well. So these are what we call 5 common reasons for not identifying dreams. And it comes down to just failing to identify what those dreams are. So, in order to combat this, then, instead of being disappointed, use it as an opportunity to learn and go forward. Instead of settling for mediocrity or average, just continue to strive, continue to get better, continue to develop, and continue to improve. Because that will then dissipate and minimize your lack of confidence. See, the more we do, the more we put to action what's in our mind, that blueprint that's in our mind, that dream, that builds the boldness and that builds the confidence that we need to achieve the dream. And then to avoid lack of imagination, just think big. Think outside the box. Think that you can actually achieve something that maybe, even though you haven't achieved it before, you can still do it because you have what it takes inside of you. And then that will ultimately lead to that rain cloud becoming sunshine, because you'll be able to change discouragement into encouragement. So these are very, very important. And again, these are common reasons for not identifying dreams. Now, I mentioned earlier as a part of the introduction that there are actually 10 different questions that we do ask, and we'll go into this much deeper in our masterclass. This is our Lunch and Learn, where we will introduce to you the 2 topics of ownership and cost. But overall, there are actually 10, and we go into much more detail in the masterclass. So feel free to come back and enroll in that class as well. But ownership has to do with you and I just asking the question, is what we're dreaming about really our dream? Or is it somebody else's dream that we're living out? In terms of clarity, we need to take the general idea and just make it very specific. In terms of reality, the question then becomes, we have to look at what we naturally do well and then make sure that those habits actually fit into our dream. Passion. We have to be enthusiastic. We have to have zeal. We have to have excitement as it relates to our dream, because we have to keep ourselves excited and then also others that are within our sphere of influence. In terms of pathway, developing the pathway to your dream enables you to now reach your potential. Very key and very, very important. The people question is, develop your team with people who inspire you. You want to be around positive, like-minded people that believe in your dream and will actually help you to achieve your dream. And guess what? You do the same for them as well. That's why it's called your sphere of influence. They influence you and you influence them as well. Now, cost. The dream in and of itself is free, but along the way, the actual journey, there is a cost. So the price is always higher than we estimate or project. That's just the reality. Tenacity, tenacity. If you cease resources for your dream, then your dream achievement will immediately stop. So we have to be very tenacious and reach out to all of the resources that we have at our disposal so that we can make sure that dream becomes a reality. Fulfillment. Every step is appreciated on the journey so that you will be fulfilled in the journey. And then the last one is significance, and what to do is tied up in the significance of who you are. So if you want to do something significant for yourself and for others, and ultimately with others, think about the impact that it will have on everybody that you come in contact with. And that's what's so interesting, and that's what's so dynamic about this journey. So, I just wanted to briefly cover that. Again, we'll go into much more detail in the masterclass, but today we'll cover ownership and we'll cover cost. So, first step, ownership. So, are you living your dream or the dream someone else has for you? That's a big, big question and something to really, really think about as you go forward. It's very important because it has to be your dream, your life, your fulfillment, and not what somebody else wants you to do. That way, you're more likely to be on your way to achieving it and getting it done. So, have you heard these? The first one is you should be a fill in the blank. Or have you ever thought, I always wanted to be a, and you fill in the blank. But my parents wanted me to be a, and I don't want to disappoint them. Right? We've all been there. We've all been there. It's happened, right? And as a parent, we especially need to be very, very careful and very, very deliberate to listen to our children, to listen to our family members, to listen to our friends, to listen to our coworkers who are confiding in us about their dream and their goal and aspiration, and encourage them to tap into their potential to be all that they want to be, not what we think they should be. Now, it's okay to encourage or recommend or expose people to different things that they might be interested in, but by no means should we try to persuade them from pursuing what it is that they want to do and what they would like to achieve. So that's why in this Lunch and Learn, we're covering ownership, because it's very important. If you go back to the first question, are you living the dream or the dream someone else has for you? Big difference, big difference. Something to really think about and something to ponder. Now, feel free, if you like, you can go ahead and fill in the blanks here if you like. You probably remember a conversation or two that you may have had with somebody in that particular space or in that area. But like I said, feel free to pause, feel free to take a break, feel free to jot down your notes and then come back and resume and join us. Not a problem. Now, taking ownership of your dream. So let's take a look here at the very bottom where you see it says own your dream. So here are some steps that we can take to own the dream, taking ownership of your dream. First, at the very top is lead your life. You were born into the earth with a specific gift, specific thoughts, specific personality, abilities to get things done. You know it's a gift if you find yourself leaning toward it and it's something that you would do for free. But what a blessing to see and to know that you actually get paid for doing the things that you really like and that you really enjoy. So lead your life, and that takes us to the right where I just mentioned, love what you do. Have a blast at it. Enjoy it. It should be very fulfilling, very therapeutic. That gives you a hint that you are living the dream and you are experiencing it because you own your dream. Not what someone else wants you to do, but what you are gifted to do. And then on the bottom right, believe in your vision. Your vision is how you go about living out that dream. And when you document what that vision is and you put an action plan to it, it'll come to pass. Take a look over on the left where you see bet on your life. So, in other words, make an investment in the direction that you're going and make an investment like you're doing here in the Leaders or Learners Academy. You're making an investment in yourself. You're betting on yourself, which is a good thing. And then don't compare. Don't compare your life to others in terms of what others are doing and what others are accomplishing because we're all unique. We're all individually gifted and we're all individually blessed with different abilities that only we can carry forward. So lead your life, love what you do, believe in your vision, invest in yourself or bet on yourself, and don't make comparisons. Don't try to be like someone else. Don't necessarily emulate. We can look to others as an example and as a model, but don't necessarily try to be who they are because only they can be who they are, just like only you can be who you are. So this is all about taking ownership of your dream. So a few questions for you to think about, and I'll ask you to write down your responses and come back at a later time and look at them again and review them and think about them and take a self-inspection and a self-reflection. If you had no limitations, there were absolutely no limitations on what it is that you would like to accomplish. Isn't that interesting? Then what would be your level of commitment? And what if you knew you couldn't fail? Dynamic questions, thought-provoking, open-ended questions for you to consider. See, when you take ownership of your dream, you do commit to that dream. And if you had no limitations, then the question would be, what is your level of commitment? And what if you knew you couldn't fail? Now, that's an awesome question. Awesome question. So, as you can see here at the bottom, then, the first thing in being able to answer is to take ownership. Take ownership of your dream. And then, like I said earlier, prepare to start moving forward. That's your action plan. So take the dream, which is a blueprint that's inspiring, that's focused on the future, as you tap into both your conscious and your subconscious mind, and now move it to action. Prepare to start moving. So this is a slide here where you can jot down your thoughts and your perspectives and your views as it relates to these two questions, because what is your level of commitment? I would submit to you that you need to be very committed and very focused on that dream in order to make it happen, because it takes work. And what if you knew you couldn't fail? That's awesome. And the truth of the matter is you can't fail because your dream is based upon something that you're gifted. And because you're gifted, it's very fulfilling and it's very therapeutic and it's something that you love to do. And quite frankly, it comes naturally and you'll get paid for that gift, but you love it so much that it's something that you would do for free as well. So think about this. The first step in being able to answer is to take ownership. Put your dream to the test. Is it your dream or is it someone else's dream? Do you own it or are you doing it out of obligation because someone else suggested that perhaps you should do that? All right, now, cost. The cost of the dream. Now, the projected cost and the estimated cost of fulfilling your dream and moving out as an action to achieve your dream is always going to cost more than you think. That's just the way it is. Doesn't have to be negative, but that's the reality of where we are. And we're not just talking about dollars and cents, all right? But we're talking about time, we're talking about investment, research, study, doing it, falling down, getting back up. So, not just dollars and cents, which is what the calculator represents. But the biggest question here is, are you willing to pay the price for your dream? Again, your dream. We keep those two words close together, your dream. So, here's some things to think about. Do you avoid the question? Do you avoid the cost? And do you avoid the dream? Because again, we're not just talking dollars and cents, but we're talking about, again, your overall investment, your physical investment, your mental investment, research, study, doing it, being able to bring mentors and coaches into your life to give you advice and to give you counsel. That's what we're talking about. Over a lifetime, there is a cost to the dream. But I'm here to tell you that you can get it done and you can look forward to reaping the benefits of all of the investment that you put into pursuing your dream. So, is it possible to pay too much for your dream? It's possible. But again, since we're not talking dollars and cents, let's take a close look at what exactly we are talking about. So, again, the dream is free, but the journey is not, because it takes time and it takes effort. The price must be paid sooner than you think. When I send my sons off to college, I always ask them, above and beyond just paying the tuition, I always ask them the proverbial question, how much more do you need for your textbooks and all of the other materials that go along? So you've paid your tuition for college, but there are some other costs as well, and it must be paid sooner than you think, because prior to starting any given semester, you have to also now, beyond just tuition, you have to pay for your supplies and your materials and your textbooks. And this is part of the journey when I always say that the cost is always a little bit higher than we project or we estimate, but not necessarily in dollars and cents, but in some of the other areas that we make investments in as well. So the dream is free, yes, but the journey is not. And the price must be paid sooner than you think. The price will ultimately be higher than we expect as well. And that's part of the journey as we go through our time together. It's really interesting. And the price must be paid more than once. Now, this is not intended to get you to not pursue your dream, but this is to bring reality into the picture of all of the different elements and all of the different characteristics and attributes that go into ultimately achieving our dream. So the price will be higher than we expect, and the price must be paid more than once. So here are some other types of costs, because again, we're talking above and beyond just dollars and cents, but the time with family and friends, also included in here could be neighbors and colleagues and acquaintances. That's all included. In other words, the time that we are spending with people within our sphere of influence. The next one is dealing with criticism. People will criticize and say unkind things about the dream that we are pursuing, not necessarily intentionally, but nevertheless, they say them. And it gives us pause to think about that criticism, which could potentially derail us from pursuing that dream. So this is a cost that we have to be aware of and that we have to live with. What about the price for overcoming our fears? We all have fears and anxiety and other trepidations that go along with the dream that we have in our mind. Can we really do this? Can I really succeed at doing this? As I pursue this dream, what are people going to think as they're watching? All of those come into our minds, which cause us to be fearful. And that word fear, F-E-A-R, is nothing more than false expectations appearing real. False expectations appearing real. That's what fear stands for. And then last but not least is the price of hard work. It's not easy. Pursuing your dream, achieving your dream is not easy, but it's doable. Perseverance, persistence, recurrence, just never stopping, keep pressing, getting up off the canvas if you fall down. It's hard work, but it's definitely doable. I've seen it happen, and I have been able to accomplish my goals and my dreams and my aspirations within a lifetime as well. So, what is your dream worth? Good question. Jot down some things as you think about this. What is your dream worth? Only you can figure that out because it is your dream. Make sure you count the cost. The cost are all of the variables that we just covered, and even more that you are writing down as we go through our time together at this Lunch and Learn. How much are you willing to pay for the dream? Good question, right? It is going to cost more than you estimate and you project, but keep pushing. What are you not willing to pay? What are some things that will step in your way and appear almost like a brick wall, but you're just not going to deal with that? You're not going to let that be an obstacle. What are you not going to pay or not willing to pay? And some prices in your journey just may be too high, and that's okay. Happens all the time when I have conversations with different people about different projects and initiatives that I would like to get started. One of the first things I do is dream about it and think about it and get some counsel and advice about it. And then the very next question I ask is, what is it going to cost? And in some instances, it's just not worth at that time pursuing it. And that's okay. But remember this, the bigger the dream, the higher the cost, because there's so many factors and so many other variables involved with that particular dream that it's going to drive up the cost. And all of us can probably relate to that. So don't leave your dream to chance. All right? It's one thing to have a dream, another to do the things to achieve it, putting that dream to action and actually making things happen. Don't leave your dream to chance. Increase the odds of your dream becoming a reality with the 10 dream test questions from Put Your Dream to the Test. And that's what we will dive into more in the masterclass, because we will have an opportunity to dive deeper into each of those areas to help you to really understand how you go about really putting your dream to the test. Engage in the process. That comes from the doing. And then ultimately you ask yourself the final question, is your dream worth it? And we hope the answer is yes. But if the answer is no, maybe it's just not right for this particular time. And at a later time, you'll be able to move out on that particular dream. So, here we go. Dare to dream. That's what that rocket represents to the left. Take off. Go for your dream. Live it out. Realize your potential. Be fulfilled. Life is joyful. Make no mistake about it. Prepare the dream. That's what the checklist to the left represents. There's going to be an opportunity to write down your ideas and your thoughts. Make sure you check them off as you complete them, because as you complete them, it gives you more confidence and more boldness to continue to go forward. And then you want to wear the dream. To the left of that represents that medal, or it represents that award, that gold medal that athletes win at the Summer and Winter Olympics every 4 years. Wear that dream, because now you're proud of the fact that you not only had the dream, but you were able to move out on the dream and accomplish it. So dare to dream, prepare the dream. Now you can wear the dream. Next is make modifications and amendments and revisions as you go along, because you will need to repair the dream. That's what on the left represents the screwdriver and the wrench, because we need to get in there with those tools that are in our toolbox to make some adjustments and to make some repairs and to keep going forward with that dream. Don't give up on it, but it may need to be revised. And then last but not least, the handshake to the left represents that we will now share the dream in terms of inspiring, motivating, and encouraging others in our lives as we share the dream. So, this is what this is all about. Put your dream to the test. Dare to dream, prepare the dream, wear the dream, repair it, and then ultimately share the dream. So, I want to thank you so very much for spending this time with me during this Lunch and Learn. Again, take the time to review all of the materials, review the image of the archery with the bow going directly into the bullseye and what that might mean as it relates to achieving your goal. Take a look at the two videos, the one with the young lady running over the hurdles. Those hurdles represents the obstacles that she's able to overcome. And then the video making an impact. That's you. You make an impact on everybody around you, because you are now not just wearing your dream, but you're sharing your dream. And again, you also have the trifold brochure. You have a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, and you've also taken some copious notes that you can go back and take a look at. As you take a look through this Lunch and Learn, again, you can pause and you can take time to think and reflect and go back and look at it time and time again. And if I can continue to support you in your leadership journey, I can be reached at the Johnson Leadership Group at gmail.com, the Johnson Leadership Group at gmail.com. So this is Kevin Wayne Johnson. I want to thank you so much again for making the investment in yourself and the Leaders Are Learners Academy. I want to wish you all the best in your career development and your leadership journey. And until we meet again, be well. Take care. Bye-bye.